Can one face redefine what we consider male beauty? Francisco Chico Lachowski didn't just do it, he turned it into a global trend. With millions of views on TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit, his image became a symbol of looksmaxxing, the digital art of perfecting male aesthetics. But who is this Brazilian model that brands like Dior, Gucci, and Balmain are still fighting over? You're about to find out on Male Glow. Born in Curitiba, but raised in the wild beauty of Foz do Iguaçu, Brazil, Francisco Lachowski spent his childhood among rivers, trees, and fresh air, nowhere near the chaos of fashion capitals. Before becoming a model, Chico, as his friends and family called him, lived a regular life. After graduating from high school, he began studying industrial design, though he quickly realized it wasn't his true calling. His first contact with the modeling world came almost by accident, a school fashion show where his cousin encouraged him to join. They were looking for boys who looked like models, and the pay was $100. At just 17, with no bigger plans on the horizon, he said yes. At that event, his life changed. A scout from Ford Models noticed something special in him and signed him on the spot. Just like that, everything shifted. Suddenly, Francisco went from an unknown teenager to a hidden gem. His natural talent for posing, elegant walk, and ability to communicate emotions without a single word turned him into a rising star. If you ever see him looking serious or distant on the runway, don't mistake it for disinterest, it's part of the art. And although we often see him dressed up and sophisticated, there's also a more laid-back and authentic side to him. Visible on camera, no makeup, no filters. Not only was he signed by Ford Models at 17 years old, he won the Ford Supermodel of the Year contest in Sao Paulo while still underage. This victory secured him a contract with a prestigious agency in 2009, officially launching his career. It also came with a $60,000 prize and a ticket to the World Finals in New York. He didn't win globally, but he'd already captured the attention of major international agencies. Barely a year later, he moved to Paris and quickly booked his first major campaign, Dior. He also debuted on the runways of Milan and Paris, walking for luxury houses like Gucci, Versace, Dolce & Gabbana, and Armani, even opening shows for brands like Hermano Cervino, one of the most prestigious fashion houses in the world. From there, his rise was unstoppable. Covers of Vogue, GQ, Official, and other top publications cemented his status, not just as the model of the moment, but as the new international standard of male beauty. His runway presence really was flawless. Each step radiated confidence, youth, and elegance. To capture his effortless charisma, imagine Chico casually talking about his favorite fragrance while riding in a car through New York, as if it's just another day. There's no doubt he has that something, an undeniable charm. But what exactly is it that makes him so captivating? Despite standing at an impressive 6 feet 3 inches, his main appeal isn't his height. It's the harmony of his facial features. His face has been closely examined in videos, facial analysis studies, and even by AI tools, all pointing to the same striking features: a sharp jawline, prominent chin, almond-shaped eyes, and perfectly symmetrical eyebrows. He also possesses near-perfect facial symmetry and a large skull, a rare masculine trait that sets him apart, even among other models. Around the eye area, he blends masculine and feminine traits. For instance, his eyebrows sit slightly higher than average, giving him a softer gaze. His jaw is strong and well-shaped, though slightly narrow, yet his wide neck balances the masculine structure of his face. From a side view, he has a well-proportioned nose and lips, though he lacks a supraorbital ridge, slightly feminizing his profile. Overall, his face blends both masculine and feminine traits in a balanced way, placing him in a midpoint on the sexual dimorphism scale. This unique combination, paired with his youthful, confident expression, made him aspirational to men and irresistible to women. But Chico Lachowski didn't stand out just for his looks. He became the face of something much bigger, a cultural movement. In today's digital age, where every visual detail is scrutinized, the looksmaxxing phenomenon emerged. It began in forums like Reddit and exploded on platforms like TikTok. The idea of looksmaxxing? To maximize physical attractiveness through aesthetic care, fitness, posture, and even plastic surgery. This reflects the growing social pressure to meet often unattainable beauty standards. While it can encourage self-care and personal growth, it also feeds obsession, constant comparison, and rising body image anxiety. Beyond its methods, this culture revolves around an obsession with an ideal male look. In this context, Francisco Lachowski rose as a global icon. On TikTok, questionable and sometimes dangerous challenges tied to this culture have gone viral. Some promote disordered eating and can severely affect young people's mental and physical health. One extreme trend, known as starvemaxing, encourages young straight men to undergo extreme diets to resemble handsome models like Chico Lachowski without considering the health risks. Even though Chico is super active on social media with a massive 3.6 million followers, he claims to have no idea about the cult-like fan base that idolizes him for this very reason. But during a phone call with fellow model Sean O'Pry, their stance became crystal clear. They're firmly critical of extreme looksmaxxing, which often equates to harmful practices like starvemaxing. Take lip balm, for example. They're not fans. Why? Because applying things your body doesn't truly need can actually backfire. Their logic is simple. Lip balm should only be used when absolutely necessary.
Yeah. Like I don't use lip balm, I never need lip balm. So I feel like it's things like that. If you just keep constantly putting things on your skin that it doesn't need.
However, both agree on one golden rule. Hydration starts from within.
But at the end of the day, we're basically water. So I think the more water you put on your skin, the better.
I feel the same way.
They also share a piece of advice that sounds simple, but most guys ignore. Start your skincare routine young.
This industry did teach me one thing. You start on skincare as young as you can. Don't start on skincare at 35, you're too late.
However, without taking it to extremes, there are healthy and balanced looksmaxxing practices that anyone can incorporate.
I use soap and water. But now that I've included, the thing I do most for my skin is I use moisturizer often, 3-4 times a day. I over moisturize. I drink a lot of water.
And few embody that balance better than Chico Lachowski, whose name alone sparks waves of admiration, excitement, and fascination across social media. Whether he's walking on the runway, posing, or just casually strolling, his videos overflow with emojis, spontaneous praise, and heartfelt comments. It doesn't matter if the clips are old or recent, his impact remains. For example, this user highlights one of his most iconic traits. The walking style defined by Bro is another level, referring to his confident, elegant, and natural walk, now widely known as the Chico walk. Users like Mr. Robert 128 acknowledge his elite status with phrases like Chico Lachowski Prime, implying that his peak, or perhaps every version of him, remains on another level. And what happens when people see him in real life? In one clip, a fan literally asks him for a kiss, and he calmly says no, with a smile. Meanwhile, dozens of admirers surround him, scream his name, and beg for selfies like he's a Hollywood superstar. His impact and fame were undeniable. In 2016, he was awarded Male Model of the Year by Models.com. This recognition solidified his status as one of the most prominent faces of the decade and propelled him into the site's top 50 male models ranking, where he remained for several consecutive years. The following year, he appeared in a Kanye West music video, sharing the screen with other fashion icons like Jordan Barrett. That moment marked something key. Chico was no longer just a model, he was a pop figure. That same year, Jordan took home the industry award for Best Male Model, but the public's vote went to Chico. What's interesting is that there's no rivalry. Chico has always said he admires Jordan, and they even have a close relationship. They're like two sides of the same phenomenon. Just look at this video of them.
I want to go on that.
Yeah! By late 2018, Francisco was still unstoppable. He graced the January cover of GQ Portugal and was named top model at the GQ Men of the Year Awards. Chico also appeared in Vogue magazine as one of the best models, and W magazine described him as a supermodel. And if that weren't enough, in 2020, he was featured in a photography book by Mario Testino alongside other legendary industry figures. Beyond the runways and big campaigns, Francisco Lachowski is a grounded, genuine family man. He has been married since he was very young. His love story began in 2010 when he met Canadian model Jessiann Gravel during a shoot in Japan for Huge magazine, a love at first sight. By 2013, they were married and soon after welcomed their first son, Milo. 3 years later, in 2016, their second son, Laszlo, was born. On Instagram, he shares sweet photos and at-home moments showing his proud dad side and family life far from the media frenzy. Off the runway, Francisco leads a surprisingly simple and grounded life. He's passionate about skateboarding, soccer, nature, and animals. You'll often find him biking or sneaking off to a quiet green space where he can breathe in peace. In interviews, he's made it clear that what he values most is time with his family and disconnecting from the constant noise of the industry.
I couldn't feel better, you know. So I started my career at 17 years old to be where I am at 25 with like a family, 3 months old, a 3-year-old, 2 kids, you know, a wife, married, you know. It's a lot, you know, and I feel really happy, you know.
Chico Lachowski isn't just a model, he's become a global aesthetic reference. His bone structure, especially that perfectly defined and symmetrical jawline, is used as an ideal example in facial harmonization clinics, 3D simulations, and male beauty treatments. And that influence even reaches barbershops, from major cities to small towns. His name isn't just associated with celebrity anymore, it's now a standard of style. The famous Chico cut, that clean, natural, and sharply structured hairstyle is requested every week in thousands of barber chairs. His look has gone viral on TikTok and other platforms, copied time and time again by those trying to get just a bit closer to that ideal. Undoubtedly, his impact goes beyond the catwalk. Francisco didn't follow a trend, he created one. Today, he's an inspiration for thousands of young people aiming to enhance their appearance, not to fit in, but to express who they really are. Thank you for joining us on Male Glow. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an inspiring story.